What's poppin', everyone? You got your coach of the Chim Chargers here today for our Week 4 battle of the WBE. Gonna be taking on my boy patterrz, coach of the Newcastle Nidokings, and he brings a team of Tornadus Incarnate, Slowbro, Rabombi, Arcanine, Mega Venusaur, and Crocodile. We are of course bringing the squad from the building video from yesterday, so you already know. Check that video out if you want to know all the sets that I'm bringing. Link in the description below as always. And so at a first glance, he is bringing a bunch of the Pokemon that I figured he'd bring, like Slowbro, Arcanine, Mega Venusaur, his defensive core, which is something that we have to try to break and sort of play around to effectively get rid of his defensive core. And of course he brings the Crocodile, which is a nice dark type, good psychic immunity. Figure that he'd bring that as well since it's one of his best, if not his best stealth rocker. And he does bring Rabombi, which I'm not too surprised about. Rabombi is a really solid mon versus my team offensively with Quiver Dance potentially. I don't think he'd run a Sticky Web set for this kind of team, so I feel like it'll be some kind of either Specs or Quiver Dance. Quiver Dance more than likely. And he does bring Tornadus Incarnate, which is something that I was kind of on the fence about, but it could be a little bit threatening depending on what set he brings. So we have to watch out for that as well. His potential leads are going to be either the Crocodile, which can get up early rocks or intimidate and threaten with knockoff. He could also lead with the Rabombi, which it has access to U-turn if he's a choice spec set or something. I don't think he would be Sticky Web, but like lead Rabombi can still be very annoying. And as well as the Tornadus potentially with also access to U-turn for momentum and just a fast threatening mon, which are I think his three potential leads. I don't think he'd lead with Slowbro or Arcanine or even Venusaur for that matter. So based on that kind of thought process, I figured my best lead would be Cobalion. Reason is because early rocks, if I can get up my rocks, would be great because of the fact that he has three mons weak to stealth rocks, being the Tornadus, the Arcanine, and the Rabombi, right? So I figured that Cobalion can be a solid lead. If he does lead with the Tornadus, might not be a favorable match, a lead for myself, but if he does lead Crocodile or Rabombi, I think Cobalion is a great lead versus those, because I do pack Shucca Berry, so I can take Earthquakes, Close Combat back, or even like Iron Head the Rabombi or something. So I think it's a solid lead because I do have some Spidef investment as well. And my overall game plan going into this match was to try to get up rocks, of course. Like I said, chipping away at his team gonna be really nice for in the long run, as well as just trying to toxic his walls. Like for instance, I have toxic on Cobalion and Suicune, and trying to put a poison on like a Slowbro or a defensive Arcanine gonna be super useful in this matchup. And I guess try to pave the way so that we can potentially win with a Calm Mind Delphox. And I think Delphox puts in a lot of work versus his team. If we can somehow get rid of or weaken the Tornadus, or try to get the Adrenaline or boost with the speed so that we can outrun the majority of his team and any potential choice Scarfer as well. So let's go ahead and hop into this match and see how we do. Hopefully we can win this game and go undefeated, because we are currently 3-0 right now. I think he's 2-1. So pretty good record so far for I guess both of us. So let's see how we do. Let's go ahead and start this match, see what he leads off with here, and let us begin versus patterrz. He decides to challenge me. This may or may not be his first mistake. We'll find out. As I do lead off with the Cobalion, he leads off with his Tornadus, and I'm like, okay, this thing could have Focus Blast, it could have Superpower, potential Z move here as well. I'm gonna switch out into my Lottie just to scout for it, and he actually decides to turn 1 Z move. So I actually made a really nice turn 1 read here, going into that Lottie so that I will be able to take any potential fighting move. He unleashes the Z move, all out pummeling, and I'm able to actually save my Cobalion from some kind of fate, and we can go ahead here and take that attack. And I decided to go for the recover, expecting him to want to go for a U-turn. I'm thinking that he's some sort of superpower, like is he superpower set or something with U-turn, of course. So I decided to go for the Roost here, expecting the U-turn, but he does reveal Taunt, so that's a good play on his part, I guess, or a good prep on his part, keeping Taunt. And now he goes for the U-turn here, as I am basically forced to go for an attack right now. I can't really switch out to anything because that'll kind of give him momentum to go into something like Rabombi. So I decided to go for the Ice Beam here. He goes into Slowbro. I did expect Crocodile, but we do get a freeze. Very unfortunate for him, I guess, but it's not really game crippling because like he does have Scald, so that can kind of auto-thaw him. Does lose him 1 turn of momentum though, so I feel like I guess that's a little bad for him, but it's nothing really that sort of like just destroys his entire game or whatever. He just loses 1 turn of momentum basically for going for another attack. But like as you'll soon find out, he's mono Scald, so he couldn't have knocked us out anyways. But still a little unfortunate for him, I guess, as I can now get off the Roost once my taunt wears off and get back to a decent amount of health. Rabombi, of course, is a threat, and I don't want to lose my Lottie, so I'm going to switch out here into my Musketeer, which can eat up a +1 Quiver Dance. or +1 Quiver Dance Moonblast or something, and he goes right for the Moonblast straight up, and that does a lot of damage. This thing is Life Orb, likely going to be Quiver Dance, so I mean, it does a good chunk of damage. He goes back into Slowbro, I guess expecting me to be a Choice Scarf set or scouting for a Choice Scarf Cobalion, which just really opens up the game for me right now, because I can get up these rocks, which will chip away at Ribombee when it comes back in later, as well as Tornadus, Arcanine, etc. And he goes for the Toxic, predicting, I guess he was sort of playing it in a way where he thought I was Scarfed, and went for Toxic, expecting my switch. And now I got up rocks. I also am able to Toxic Slowbro, so we essentially kill 2 birds with 1 stone here, and you know, Toxic the Slowbro, get up rocks. It's looking really good for us, and we're at 2% right now. No point in sacking off Cobalion just yet. We can save it for, you know, just sacking later, I guess. Go here into my Mega Lati as he goes right for the Scald once again. No burn, unfortunately, since I kind of wanted that over over a Toxic. But so here I'm gonna expect him to go into Crocodile as I go for the Ice Beam here, and he tries to get off a Toxic, which does miss. Lati dodges that Toxic immaculately. It's really bad for him once again. Of course, in the long run doesn't really come out to play too much, I guess, but yeah, so I mean, it's still, like I said, still unfortunate for him that he missed. Same with the Freeze, lost him 1 turn of momentum. I'm gonna predict the Crocodile double Ice Beam and do a good amount of damage here. And he actually reveals to be Weakness Policy Crocodile, so that's pretty interesting, as we won't really see it in action, but I think that play was fire. Double Ice Beam on the Slowbro, expecting that Crocodile to come in. That's not bad. That's not bad at all. He's gonna bring in the Ribombee, which takes that Stealth Rocks, right? So right now what I'm gonna do is go back into my Cobalion just to sack it here, and you know, I don't really need it too much anymore since rocks are already up. He goes right for the Quiver Dance, so great play on his part in expecting my switch here, as now he's gonna go for the Moonblast to knock out my Cobalion. He's gonna take some Life Orb damage as well with this attack here, which is actually amazing for me, because now I can go into my Abomasnow, I can get this Hail up. I'm a Choice Banded Abomasnow, which means Ice Shard is going to do a lot of damage. And I did the calc, it did like 49 point something, it did like 50 to 60% basically, but I think he did have some kind of HP investment. So regardless of that, Abomasnow's Ice Shard, you know, with the Life Orb, Hail, whatnot, it will make sure that this Ribombee goes down, which means that his main offensive threat's out of the way. In comes the Tornadus, which is another offensive threat that I need to get rid of. So I did anticipate to bring that in after Ribombee went down. Went into Mandibuzz, and now what I can do actually is just go right for the foul play. He goes for the Defog, getting rid of rocks from my side, or from his side. So now I can go for the foul play, knock out the Tornadus with the Hail support from Abomasnow, which is amazing. And he's going to go into his Arcanine here. Nice full HP Arcanine with the Intimidate. Hail is still up, so I know this is a more defensive Arcanine, which means that if I can get some damage on this, he won't be able to recover too much because Morning Sun won't be healing up as much in Hail. So I'm going to go for the foul play. It doesn't do much at all, so it leads me to believe that this set here isn't really physically offensive at all, or isn't really a physical set, I guess. It's not really doing too much damage. As you can see, he goes for the Snarl, so I can already tell this thing is some kind of bulky Snarl set, maybe for like Suicune or something to stop it from setting up, and I just go for another foul play here. So on the expected healing move that he might go for here, I decide, you know what, I'm not going to stay with Mandibuzz and get Toxic all the way down. I'm going to switch out here because this Suicune, this Arcanine can be very difficult to deal with. So I'm going to go into my Suicune here, which of course is very good versus this Arcanine. Even though he's like kind of prepped his Arcanine to deal with any kind of setup Suicune, I'm not a setup Suicune, so I can actually just go and you know, I can fire off a Toxic here. As you'll soon see, he goes for his own Toxic. So he's also packing the Toxic. He packed Toxic on Slowbro, Toxic on Arcanine, and like I go for my own here. So I'm able to, I guess, essentially cripple this thing, or I guess wear it down over time, just like I'm doing with Slowbro. He's already Toxic, my Mandibuzz and Suicune have Toxic, his Slowbro and Arcanine, so we're both kind of using this Toxic to our advantage, of course. And he goes into his Slowbro once again. I go for the Scald here, and just to try to do some damage. I'm able to score a critical hit. Doesn't really matter too much. I mean, he has regen and whatnot, so it should be fine for him if he continuously uses that to his advantage. And so yeah, we're both getting whittled down by the Toxic here, him and me both. And I decide that I'm going to switch out here into my Mega Latias, as he decides to go, he actually decides to double out so that, like I said, he's going to regenerate himself into his Venusaur. And this is actually a play where I found really weird. He didn't Mega Evolve, I'm guessing he forgot. So he's going to take a huge Psyshock, and yeah, he leeches me here. which is fine because we got off massive damage on this Venusaur, which is, it's a Mega Venusaur, but I think he just forgot to Mega Evolve. And I mean, it would have taken less damage, but still, it would have been a 2-hit KO, I think. And yeah, he goes here into his Slowbro, which will take a little bit of damage, I guess. With leftovers, he'll take also some toxic damage there. I'm taking Leech Seed damage, so he'll be healing up a little bit more, which of course I am going to switch out of and not really put myself in this kind of situation here. Go into my Suicune, which can take any hit from this Slowbro. And this is a weird move. He actually has Disable on his Slowbro, so Suicune is like looking at that Slowbro like, hello? What's going on? So Disable Slowbro. So he has Toxic, Disable, Scald. That's kind of what we know so far, I guess. And pretty heat, I guess, pretty heat. I'm going to go for the Ice Beam. I kind of anticipated to switch into Venusaur or something on the Scald, trying to get his Mega off and Slack and what is it, Synthesis, but he stays in, so it's fine. He's kind of like predicting my switches into Pokemon that are not toxic and trying to go for toxic and stuff, so he's really sort of a little bit, I guess kind of over predicting a little bit, but I guess it kind of makes sense since you know, he's a little bit in the back right now, or kind of a lot in the back here, since his mons are kind of toxic right now. Essentially what I'm trying to do is get in my delphox safely, because delphox kind of wins the game from this point. So I'm just switching around here a little bit, and now I can go into my Mandibuzz predicting a toxic. I'm already poisoned, of course, and he's going to be taking a good amount of damage from the toxic right now. A nice little chip damage. So like I said, you know, I'm trying to get in delphox safely. I don't want to come in on a Snarl or anything like that, or when he's at a good amount of health. I'm trying to catch him off guard a little bit. So I'm gonna go for the Foul Play, expecting the Morning Sun, chip him down, and now I know for a fact, right, with the leftovers damage plus the increased damage in toxic, he's not gonna want to stay in this turn. So this is where things get really spicy, right? He's gonna switch out here into his Slowbro, as I predict that and decide to switch out here into my Delphox, and this is where things get really fun, right? So he's on a timer still. He's on a timer. I have Calm Mind, so I can boost myself up. The only way he can wear me down is with Toxic, but he goes for the Protect. He reveals his last move to be Protect, as I go for the Calm Mind here, and this of course was his last mistake. We have Calm Mind Delphox on the field right now, +1/+1, and this Slowbro actually is Scald, Disable, Toxic, and Protect, so no slack off. I guess he was relying on Regenerator to heal himself back up. So we get off a nice Signal Beam, do a massive amount of damage to the Slowbro as he goes for the Toxic, putting me on a timer, but I'm on a much longer timer than he is right now. His Slowbro is nice and weak here, and I'm able to, I guess, wear this thing down a lot. I figured that his best play would be to switch out into Arcanine to regenerate this thing and then come back in and Protect, but he just protects now. My best play, of course, going for the Psychic, anticipating his Arcanine switch in, which would have been his more optimal play, but he goes for the Protect here, which I'm perfectly fine with because now he gets knocked out by the Toxic, and this is great because of the fact that we get to show off our nice Adrenaline Orb Delphox set here, as he can go ahead and activate it with his Intimidate. We get that Adrenaline Orb off, get a boost in our speed. We would definitely have been faster than all of his mons on his team, if they were still alive, that is, and we get to knock out the Arcanine, and not only that, we get to activate Magician and take his leftovers while he goes down, so we can get some chip health back from that leftovers, knock him out. And the last Pokemon he has is the Mega Venusaur, which even if he did Mega before, would still get knocked out from this from whatever range it would have been at if he did decide to Mega earlier. So he goes for the Mega Evolution, and we can knock him out with a Psychic and win this game. 4-0 victory for the Chim Chargers. That is going to be GG. It is Emvee. Of course, good game to my man patterrz. Great game, of course, great game. He played a pretty solid game overall, so you know, definitely thank you for a fun game, and I'll be checking out his side of the battle going up. I think about the same time, right? So be sure to check that out as well. And yeah, overall it was a pretty clean game. I mean, even with the freeze and the Toxic Miss, overall Delphox still kind of won the game regardless, since we got rid of the Rabombi and the Tornadus. And the Tornadus did not have any stab move at all. So and I know that for a fact because he had Taunt, Superpower, U-Turn, and Defog. So no Acrobatics, no Hurricane, no nothing like that. So it just made it even easier for Delphox in the end. I think Delphox would have won this game regardless of you know, him not getting frozen or landing a Toxic. He did kind of overpredict a bunch, you know, trying to go for double Toxic or Toxic on Pokemon when I didn't switch out. So yeah, that's I guess something to note. But really fun game and really solid game at that. Hope you all enjoyed. Let me know what you guys think, of course. Always looking forward to hearing from you all. And yeah, that's gonna be it from me. So I'll try to upload another Showdown live soon, and peace.